Welcome to the second annual CMOs Leading Innovation Conference. We are going to have quite the action-packed agenda since it's all about speed today. So without further ado, let me share with you something that happened back in 2007 when my husband and I lived in the Cascade Mountains in Oregon. You know, I had spent 24 years competing in open water swim races, and I got very frustrated. I started to plateau on my swim times. And I couldn't figure out why. But then Coach Bob Bruce introduced me to the life-changing magic of drafting. So what happened is, I remember this race really well. It was the 2-mile Friday night race in Elk Lake. And I remember that I looked up, I was swimming with my head up, and I saw somebody who was wider and taller than me and slightly faster. So I made sure I sidled up about 3 feet from them between their armpit and their ankles, and it worked to the point where I was more efficient and I was 8% faster. So from then on, instead of coming in 4th or 5th in my races and being somewhat disappointed, I noticed I was starting to be 1st or 2nd. And to this day, now I am a big fan of drafting. So whenever I draft, I am able to be consistently successful. And I'm very pleased about that. So let me ask all of you, how many of you are consistently swimming in the fast lane of marketing innovation? So when only 4 hands go up, I know this is going to be a great day. We're going to have a lot to learn. So let me share with you how the day is going to play out, because our job today is to help you spend more time in the fast track of marketing innovation as opposed to gifting yourself once a year with a retreat at Airlie to talk about innovation. How do we get it more ingrained in our bones? And that's what we want to do today. So let's look at what we're going to cover and what we're going to do together. The hashtag is there. Some of you who love to tweet, feel free to do so. Or make sure now that your phones are definitely silenced so that you can stay present and enjoy your time with us today. And one of the things we first want to do before I show the agenda is to remind you that we had some terrific sponsors this year. Hold your applause until I'm finished. First, we have Dave from Dynamic Signal, a company that is spearheading the advocacy world, and we'll be hearing about that soon. Our second-year sponsor here for the great reception last night. Wasn't that a great reception? Is Tom Cole, Revelocity by RDA. We also have our networking sponsor today is Debbie Bates, CEO of Bates Creative. She's been part of our community for a while and spoken to our groups. Thank you, Debbie. And our media sponsor are Dan and Tammy Schaefer, who work with a number of corporations on their major events. So let's give a big round of applause for these great sponsors. So a few ground rules. We're going to be recording this for our virtual CMO communities who couldn't be here today. And we will not be recording your questions. So when you ask a question, all of our speakers and our panelists will be repeating the question. However, it won't be attributed back to you. So that's my point is, don't hold back. If there's something that concerns you or you want to share an issue happening in your organization, this is the safe place to do it. And also, we want you to interrupt us if any questions arise, because this is, as you all know from our sessions, this is a very interactive kind of group. So the first thing we're going to look at this morning is, what does it mean to be an innovative marketer? We have to establish some basic ground rules about kind of what behavior, what kind of mindset we bring to the game of marketing innovation. Then we're going to talk about, we're going to be gathering ideas, much like we did at the Beekeeper tour yesterday, gathering fresh ideas on marketing innovation from some terrific speakers and panelists that you'll be hearing from. And then finally, how do we go back and pollinate our organizations with some fresh ideas? So at the end, we're also going to do something really different from last year, which is we're going to hand the markers and the mics over to you, and we'll be doing some open space discussions. And thanks to Mark Levy for introducing me to this great concept that you'll be able to do some deeper dives into the topics that matter to you. Sound good? Yeah. All right, super. So I can tell you all had plenty of coffee this morning, so we're going to start right in with some metaphors. Raise your hands if you were with us yesterday at the beekeeper tour with Herman. What did he tell us about bee colony collapse? What were some of the potential causes or concerns around that? Who remembers?
Well, I think if the queen died or left the colony, that within 48 hours it would basically collapse.
Right. That's one of the things that happens. Another thing that happens is there's some issues with beetles. Getting into the colony, definitely. What else?
Some of the bees will leave and they won't be able to find their way back, like a gigantic amount of them, 80% or 90%, because of this mite or whatever it is. So they'll just leave and now the colony's destroyed.
Right, so they said that this bee colony collapse has affected a huge percentage, 45% of the bee population. It's some kind of mite that enters into the colony, and it's as if they get bitten by the mite, and then they have some form of, he called it Alzheimer's. It's almost like the bees have Alzheimer's and they don't know how to get back to the hive. So it's a very paralyzing challenge. So by the way, for those of you who sent me an email and did donate to George Mason University, thank you. You have until 12 noon today if you would like to donate to qualify for some amazing prizes. So make sure that you go to bees.gmu.edu to qualify. We have some terrific things to give away towards the afternoon.